Megan Thee Stallion called out her record company this week in an Instagram Live. The hot girl summer rapper was hoping to release her upcoming album, Suga, May 2nd. Megan is signed to 1501 Entertainment, but signed with Roc Nation last year. She recently asked to renegotiate her contract, and according to Megan, they banned her from releasing any new music as a response. In her live, she explained that after signing with Jay-Z's Roc Nation, she found out that there were some things in her previous contract that she was unaware of. Megan claimed that contrary to what people believe, she did actually read the contract. However, she claimed she was unaware of what the legal terminology meant. Now that she is aware, she wants the contract adjusted.
When I signed, I didn't really know what was in my contract. I was young, I think I was like 20, and I didn't know everything that was in that contract. So when I got with Roc Nation, I got management, real management. I got real lawyers. And they was like, do you know that this is in your contract? And I was like, oh damn, that's crazy. No, I didn't know. So I'm not mad at 1501. I wasn't upset because I'm thinking in my head, oh well, everybody cool. We all family. It's cool. It's nice. Let me just ask them niggas to renegotiate my contract. As soon as I said I want to renegotiate my contract, everything went left. Like, it just all went bad. It all went left. So now they telling the bitch that she can't drop no music. It's really just like a greedy game. Like, it's really just real greedy. Wasn't trying to lead a label. Wasn't trying to not give nobody money that they feel like they entitled to.
Crawford, the CEO and founder of 1501 Entertainment, seemed to address Megan's claims in a tweet, saying, "At a time when loyalty is at an all-time low, it's nice to be linked with J Prince, who is steady teaching me how to move in this cutthroat industry. And I know that terrifies some, especially the ones who double-cross me." Crawford is a retired baseball player. After playing for the Dodgers, he moved back home to Houston. He and a friend, Travis Ferris, decided to start their own label. 1501 was born. Megan was one of the first artists, and Carl has always spoken proudly of her and considered her an integral part of the 1501 family. She's their most successful artist, and he has said that her success has made it all worth it. But sadly, their professional relationship is in jeopardy, as Megan decided to take the label to court, saying that she would not be intimidated or bullied by them. On Monday, March 2nd, she filed a suit against 1501 and Crawford, wanting to renegotiate her contract and be allowed to release new music. A district judge in Harris County, Texas, granted Megan a temporary restraining order, which prevents her label from blocking the music. So the details of the deal came out in court. 1501 gets 60% of her record sales, and she gets 40%. However, she has to use her 40% to pay engineers, mixers, and featured artists. That doesn't leave much for her, according to Megan. The label also allegedly benefits more from her live performances than she does. As of now, Carl filed a notice to lift the restraining order against the label, but the judge rejected this. Megan, free to release new music, is set to drop Suga on Friday, March 6th. J Prince wrote a lengthy statement on Instagram, calling out Roc Nation and defending Crawford and 1501. Megan has released mixtapes and various singles since she came on the scene in 2016. She has also featured on different songs with artists such as Bad Baby, Quavo, and Gucci Mane. She released the EP Tina Snow in 2018. Her first full-length project, Fever, was released in 2019. It received positive reviews, rated 8 out of 10 in Pitchfork magazine. She is obviously talented and has the potential to blow up the rap scene for years to come. But unfortunately, some of these young artists haven't learned from the mistakes of those who went before them.
Together, learn from our mistakes, and
Other artists such as TLC, Tony Braxton, and many different rappers, including Tupac. When Tupac was in prison in 1995, his bail money was set at $1.4 million. Suge Knight was able to come up with the money and bail him out. In an interview with ABC, his mother, Afeni said Tupac felt he had no choice but to sign with Death Row. After his death, she realized that he essentially had nothing to his name.
But now, 5 months after her son's murder, with Tupac's music continuing to bring in tens of millions of dollars. And a movie he starred in, Gridlock, getting great reviews. Afeni Shakur says she has made a startling discovery about all the millions her son thought he had earned.
I discovered he had next to zero, next to nothing. I discovered that the home that he had thought that he had just bought was not his.
This is an all too familiar story. Tupac's contract with Death Row was revealed. He signed a handwritten contract that tied him into 3 albums.
I don't think he had a choice, and I'm sure he didn't feel like he had a choice under the circumstances.
What about this contract?
This is the recording contract Tupac signed in prison, which is unusual enough, committing Tupac to do 3 albums for Death Row Records.
This is just, it's a joke.
Plus, like TLC, he was represented by a lawyer who worked for Death Row Records and Suge personally. Again, a lawyer hired by the company is going to have a conflict of interest.
You just have to think about the consequences of coming in to have an agreement signed with a lawyer, and the lawyer walks out not only representing this side, but representing both sides.
Afeni said that Tupac would ask for a breakdown of his accounting multiple times to see a breakdown of his earnings. But every time he asked, he was refused. And when he insisted, they would give him a gift like a Rolls Royce or a house. After his death, she found out that none of these things belonged to him.
Tupac's family says in the months before his death, Tupac was fast catching on and preparing to break free of his reliance on Death Row and its lawyer, his lawyer, David Kenner.
A few days before he was killed, he formally sent a letter telling David Kenner that he no longer can represent him and basically firing him.
These stories have been out there for decades, and unfortunately artists today are still going through it. Is it even acceptable today to get involved in a bad record deal for simply not reading your contract, when we have seen many examples of other artists suffering and dealing with the same thing? It's so important to be vigilant when dealing with contracts and to learn from other people's mistakes. No matter how smart you think you are, always have legal representation that does not have a conflict of interest in representing the record company too. John Berg, aka Hitmaker, stressed that it is super important for young artists to scrutinise the paperwork before signing anything. He basically said there was no such thing as a bad record deal because it's all there in black and white, and an artist can read all the details before signing. When you're signing these deals, you are agreeing to them. TLC, Park, Tony Braxton, Khalees, Mace, and many others had actually sold millions of albums and proven themselves to be successful artists with lucrative brands. Yet many got tied into starter contracts with no publishing earnings. It is understandable that they would seek to renegotiate to try and get out of these contracts. However, Megan is yet to reach their level of success, so perhaps wanting to renegotiate was premature, especially as she signed on a dotted line. When you can come to the label with reasons other than I didn't understand the contract or I didn't read it properly, perhaps they have more reason to make a deal with you. Carl Crawford spoke out about the negotiations recently, saying Megan didn't tell him she was going to sign with Roc Nation, and he was blindsided by her and his colleague T. Farris. Not only did you go to Roc Nation, this negotiation thing that she claims she tried to do, man, well, her definition of negotiation is different from mine. Her lawyer came in talking about what I better do. Her idea of renegotiation wasn't to renegotiate. It was to get me out of the deal completely. This is why I got so upset. They don't want to say that part. They want to make it look like I'm the disgruntled person. No, they tried to cut me out of the deal all the way. According to Kyle, they didn't offer him any money to buy her out of the deal. Megan fell for the oldest trick in the book, he said. The divide and conquer theme is the oldest trick. Divide everybody up, conquer, move on. When asked if there was any chance of them being back on good terms, he said, she just was so disrespectful that it's like, I really just want to get what's mine and move on. What's the big deal? You're doing your shows, you're getting your money. Why you can't pay me mine? We got all the receipts. So she can say all that she wants. Speaking of the deal Megan is unhappy with, Carl said, she got 40% of her masters. Nobody gets that. We gave her part of her own masters out the gate. Nobody gets none of their masters out the gate. Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't get that. I guarantee you, if you had signed with Roc Nation first, you would have got none of what you've got right now. You would have no masters, no percentage, where it would be 40%. It probably would have been something like 12%. You knew the contract, we signed it twice. You did it with us and 300 Entertainment. You know how to read. You went to college. Your mama was right there and a lawyer. She's just a liar, he said. Carl Crawford claims to have invested $1.5 million of his money into Megan's career. So what to look for when it comes to signing a deal? Many rappers have been offered 360 deals. A 360 deal is when the record label provides financial and marketing support for all facets of the artist's work, including music sales, live performances, publishing, endorsements, and more. In return, the artist agrees to give the label a cut of all their revenue streams. Khalees said she didn't get much from her album sales, nor any publishing rights. But she was still making good money from touring. That's why she didn't question her contract at first. A 360 deal would mean the label would get a cut from the tours too. J. Cole is signed to a 360 deal with Jay-Z's Roc Nation. This is who Megan Thee Stallion is now signed to. He explained the deal like this. Basically, 360 deals mean the label gets a piece of everything. Back in the days, it was sacred that a label could not touch your show money. Worst things worse, if a label wasn't putting you out, you could always eat off your show money, your merchandising, anything that your name is on. They couldn't touch. But now that albums aren't selling, labels need a way to make money, because they're losing money. Today, people have access to free music. Even Diddy, in making the band 4, said he is no longer making the money he used to in the music industry, and that he's really just doing it for the passion. Record labels just aren't making the money that they used to from the sales alone. A 360 deal is seen as a solution to this. These deals get a bad rap. But the good news is, the record company is not going to be so quick to drop an artist who isn't making a great deal of sales, because they can make money from them through other ways. If they're not selling a lot of music, they may put them out on tour. An artist who doesn't reach the top 10 on Billboard may still be selling out stadiums. It is standard for the record company to own an artist's masters, but the longer an artist has been established, the more they're able to renegotiate the ownership of masters.
A lot of young artists sign contracts, and now that you're like a label boss for Atlantic, I wonder what advice you have. You see with Megan Thee Stallion's in a position now,
right?
You know, they're frozen.
You just gotta really pretty much make sure your legal team is right when you enter in these deals and know you're doing big business. A lot of artists get into situations where they end up signing contracts and things of that nature without really thoroughly going through the paperwork or whatever. So I mean, for Meg's situation, I hope everything works out for him. I got love for both parties. It's no such thing as bad deals when you actually sign the paperwork yourself. You know, like you just gotta be well educated, no matter how young you are. You know, because I mean, this game ain't got no love for nobody. Like you see my journey. 1 minute you up, next minute you down. You know, it's transitions through everything, bro.
So as far as Megan, what advice do you have for her?
Well, she already got a good team, you know what I'm saying? She got good things going for her, so I mean,
that's why she's aware now.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you agree with Young Berg that there really is no such thing as a bad deal because it's all there in black and white? Or do you think the record companies need to be called out for misleading artists? And do you think Megan Thee Stallion has every right to take 1501 to court and expect to be able to renegotiate her contract? Or do you think she's being unreasonable and agree with Carl Crawford that she actually had a decent deal to begin with. Megan has since responded to Jay Prince, saying, "Facts are facts, and the facts are public." She then went on to say that it had nothing to do with Jay-Z and that they were deflecting. "I want my rights. The facts are 1501 doesn't want to approve my budget to put out my project that the court is allowing to be released. 2. 1501 tried to stop my release. I prevailed in court. 3. 1501 tried to fight the decision today. The court denied 1501's request. Respect my deceased mother. She's not here. You don't know her. You weren't involved. Carl should speak for himself. All the facts are public record, available at the courthouse in Houston." Thanks for watching. Rate, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to click the bell for more.